Hi, everybody. I'm just waiting for it to spool in the viewers. I see that some have been waiting. Okay, so we're getting people into the chat room. I don't have an agenda today. I have had a very busy and trying week. I was up all night and I had been starting to go to bed early, but I had an incident with my daughter's dog, so we were in the emergency hospital clinic all night, so I am kind of tired. So if I'm not real perky today, that's why. Um, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do some of the shout outs. Have So Love says she was looking forward to tonight's chats. We got Kaylin with Stitched Art Studio. Hi T and everyone. She's working on stabilizing her t-shirt quilt. Stabilizing t-shirt quilt shirts. She's from Ottawa, Ontario in Canada. We got HC is asking Kaylin what size are her blocks as she's thinking about doing that. And then we've got Robin from RS Islands Crafts. Hi, T and everyone. Robin from Florida. And Darlene, she's from Northern Virginia. And Diane. Hi, Diane Roney. Sharon Martin's here. We got Gloria. Got Linda. Hi, everyone from Cole, Indianapolis, Indiana. Diane from Houston, Texas. Got Gwen. Hi, Gwen. Kathy from Ontario. And Linda's asking, how's the puppy? Right now, she's doing a little better. She wasn't eating before. We actually had an incident with another dog, a neighbor's dog, came over into my daughter's yard. So, yeah, she's got about 6 to 8 bite marks, and one of them's real close to one of her lungs, so we're concerned about that, but it looks like everything is okay. We're on a 24-hour watch for that, and we're still waiting for results back from the x-ray. So it looks like everything is good. She's actually starting to walk around a little bit now, as before she wasn't walking around. So, and she's a Shih Tzu that had an encounter with a German Shepherd. So it was pretty traumatic for me and my daughter. So I'm just real exhausted right now. But it looks like everything is going to be great. So that's fine. At first she wasn't eating, so we were getting concerned about that. But she's now eating, and she needs to eat so she can get the medications that she needs. So it's just going to be a little long haul for recovery for her. And let's see what else is in the chat box. We got Jackie from St. Louis. Mo, hi Jackie. Got Patty from California. Myla says hello. And we got Katia. Hi Katia. Got Mariette. She's from South Africa. Appreciate your concerns. Got Susan saying she feels my pain. She just had the same experience with her son's dog over the weekend, and she's from Mason, Ohio. Darlene says that she's saying, T, I don't see you. You probably need to just refresh your screen and it should pop in. Hopefully that works. Got Victoria. We got Penny. And if I said puppy, I'm sorry. She's a little Shih Tzu, so they look like little puppies, but she's actually 7 years old. I see some people are asking about what puppy. It's actually my daughter's dog. I don't have a dog, but if my daughter goes out of town, then I'm the babysitter for the dog. We got Marcia. Hi, Marcia. And we got Penny from Colorado. And hi, Jennifer. So I think I've done all the shout outs so far. So as they come in, I'll just stop and do those because I don't have anything to um, share as far as a project because I just couldn't get focused on that. So I just decided not to even try it tonight. But I didn't want to cancel the live broadcast. So I just thought that I would show you a project that my Scrap Quilting Club is working on. Uh, what I do for my Scrap Quilting Club is every month I give them a project, and all of these projects are optional. They don't have to do these projects, but then as incentives, that's where I do some of my hauls, where I get some of my quilting things because I use those as project prizes. So if you work on a project, I have a container that I keep for the entire year, and then I put your name in for every project that you finish. And then I also use some of the prizes for door prizes. So even if you don't do any of the projects, you still got an opportunity to win a prize. But I also, in addition to the monthly projects, I do a year-long project. We do this every year. And this year we're working on the Scrap-O-Rama pattern. And I had it laying here. It's up under. See, I told you I'm just distracted. It's right here and I can't see it. But we're actually working on a pattern that we purchased from Iowa Star Quilts, and it's called Scrap-O-Rama. And so what we do when we get a project like this, we just break it down into monthly installments so that it's not a big chore for you to work on it at one time. So I have some of the blocks here, but let me see if I can just go through this pattern. This quilt finishes at 90 inches by 108 inches. And Iowa Star Designs has her website, www.iowastardesigns.com. And she used to have a quilt store. That's why I'm saying Iowa Star Quilts. But it's Iowa Star Designs, just in case you're looking for this pattern. But every month, we're in the month of March now, so we've done blocks for January and February. So let me get the container and show you those. I think I showed this in one of my retreats where I went on with the scrapbookers. I showed some of the blocks because I was working on them then. But this is for the first month of January, I assigned for them to make friendship stars. So I have all of those made. And then the second month, we had to make quarter log cabin blocks. Looks something like that. And now what's due for March is these pinwheel kind of blocks. So I have all of those done as well. And so I'm actually working on what's due in April. And I'm working on these blocks here. So I have started some of them. I still need to piece another 4 from scrap, and I actually have started doing that right here. And so I have, like the other blocks here that I've started, I have to sew the rows together. So yes, so we take a big project and we break it down so that it's not so cumbersome, especially for the beginners in our group. And that way it's manageable by everybody. And then as you work on each month, I have a year-long container project as well, and we just put your name in as you complete each monthly assignment. So let me go back and see about some shout outs here. So we got Vicky from Paducah Quilt Show soon. Yes, it is. I will be there. And again, if anybody is at the Paducah show on Friday, which is the day that I normally go, if you see me, stop and chat with me. We'll take a little quick video. I'll throw you into the video as well. I'll just put whatever you want, your first name or no name, but I'll just throw you in as I saw you at the show. So I like stopping and chatting with people when I can. We've got Azara. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Hi, welcome to the channel. If I butchered your name, I'm so sorry. Diane says, oh, I have 4 dogs, 2 poms, and 2 mastiffs. Yes, so this quilt is a queen size. When I make the queen size for my beds, I tend to make them 96 square inches. So anything in that area is considered a queen size quilt, and it just depends on how thick your mattresses are. So it will be very long on my bed, but I might add a little wider border when I get there. I'll determine that later. Darlene is asking if is there a quilting block for South Carolina. There is a quilting block for every state, and there are probably books or free things you can find online because I know I've seen them in the past, but I can't think of the quilt block off the top of my head. But there is a quilt block for every state. Got Paula in. Hi, Paula. Gwen says she loves the colors. Mila says she likes it. Are you making a sampler with your blocks? I'm actually, that was Darlene. I'm actually, yes, it is a sampler quilt. I showed the picture before. So just let me show the picture again. I'm just trying not to show her instructions. And you can see up on the top, I just wrote on my pattern tees copy because we've got about 15, I can't remember how many people signed up to do this project in our group. So we got quite a few of these patterns and things get left. So you need to know what belongs to whom. We got Victoria. Hi, Victoria. I have a sister named Victoria. She says, I love scrap quilts. This should be really nice looking. Sharon Martin say, wonderful scrap quilt. Where can we get the pattern? And again, you can go to Iowa Star Designs is at www.iowastardesigns.com. And she has quite a few patterns on her website. She makes quilts for a lady that her name is Patience Griffin. She writes books that she writes fiction stories that have quilt patterns in them, and she is the person that does the quilts for the book. She's always in Paducah. I think she even goes to the Chicago show that's in April as well. So she's always vending there. Her specialty is her patterns that she designs, and then she also has a whole lot of neutral prints that are reasonably priced. So those are her specialties. We got Susie in from Kansas City. Hi, Susie. And we got just hi from Greenwich, UK. Got Ramona. Hi, Ramona from Unityville, Pennsylvania. And Diane says that she goes to the Houston Quilt Show in November. I am trying to go to the Houston show this November, and I'm hoping that all works out. Thinking of traveling, I just went yesterday to get a passport so that, you know, you got to have passports now for traveling state to state, but I've also decided maybe I might need to do an international trip as well. So if any of you are in Mexico, I plan to come to Mexico this year. So I'm hoping that the Houston trip works out. I don't have anything scheduled confirmed yet, but we'll be talking about that more towards May. Um, Someone says, I think there's a quilt block for every national park in the USA. That I don't know, but I do know, like, when I looked up things for the state of Missouri, that there was different things for the state bird, the uh, the state animal, state flower, the governments, or something about the state government. So it was a lot of different things that could be made for each state. We got Rhonda from Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome, Rhonda. Gwen says, will you be at any quilt shows near Las Vegas? Not this year. I will not be at any quilt shows. I'm not sure if you were the one that asked me about coming to Las Vegas. If any guild is willing to sponsor me, I'm willing to travel wherever. But I don't have anything planned at this time. I will tell you what I do have planned at the end of this month in just a bit. So it looks like we've got Angela, whose comment needed to be. I was not trying to. Let me go back because Darlene's, no, we have Angela. She says, Darlene, check out Quilters Cash website for the South Carolina block. And that is a very good website for block patterns. The only thing for me is that it's just difficult to get the patterns because they print on so many different pages. But for as a block library, that is an excellent place to go get just about any quilt block. IDK777FAR. She says, T, what about going to Birmingham? And then it's got a C. I'm not sure if she's saying Birmingham, Alabama, or no. So she's trying to clarify down at the bottom. She says, oops, the Birmingham Festival of Quilts in the UK. No, I have not been or slated to go to anything like that. If I'm doing anything that's out of the country for its quilting, then I definitely would have to have some sort of sponsorship with that. But no, I don't have anything scheduled like that. Then we've got Darlene saying, T, what when a quilter decides to make a quilt based on another designer, should the designer's name be put on the quilt label? Just for documentation purposes, I would say yes, it should be put on there. If you did any, you can also, if you did any modifications to that, you can then also say that it was modified by you. But if you want to do something where you're passing down the history of the quilting, then yes. Is it absolutely necessary? The answer is no, I guess, but it's just something that you could and should do. Diane says, Anita Good Design has all the states in blocks. And I actually purchased that a while back. And then I went to look up and see what was in there. And I noticed that I was missing the state of Mississippi. And there's nothing that I can do about it now because I bought that so long ago. So, but I do have the Anita Good Design. It's machine embroidered blocks that you do, and you can either make a separate little smaller state quilt with it, or you can make a larger quilt of the USA with them. But I do have that as well, so I know what you're talking about. And then Laura says, Laura King's checking in from Dallas, Texas. Hi, Lauren. And Diane is asking me, do I fly with my sewing machine? Presently, I do not. I have not had to fly to go to any of the lectures that I've been to. They've been 6 hours or less, so I've been just driving myself. I personally prefer to drive because I can keep control of my quilts instead of me having them shipped off and taking the chance of not showing up at the destination. So I have not had the opportunity to actually fly with a quilt. My sewing machine, whenever I fly, it's more for line dancing or personal traveling. So I'm not really taking a sewing machine. Hi, Bonitas, no problem. I'm just glad you were able to make it. Being late is not a problem. Got Paulette from Boston, Massachusetts. Susan says Carol Doak has a foundation paper piece book that features store blocks from all 50 states. And that might be one of them that I'm looking at. But I think Leisure Art Presents also has something for all states. And then at one point, the fabric lines came out with fabrics, a floral pattern for every state as well. But if that fabric still available, I don't have a clue though. But at one point, it was all out there. Hi, Liz. She's checking in. Okay, Diane, I see your comment. I'm not going to read that. Brenda saying hi. Welcome, Brenda. Hi, Erica. I'm so glad you came. She's from Loganville, Georgia. She says she loves my channel. Erica, can you give me the name of your channel? Is it your name? Because she has a really great quilting channel as well. I've watched a few of her videos. And Phyllis Garner is checking in. Hi, Phyllis. So again, we're just doing chats here today. I talked about already what project I'm working on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start sewing a little bit. And Paulette is asking, am I going to do a tutorial on how I made my jean apron? I said I would, but I haven't gotten to it. It's been so much going on, and I will try to do that. But it is so very simple that it's ridiculous. But I will do that. And I haven't even been recording any videos. The only videos that I have recorded that I need to edit are videos where I've done some hauls. I've done some paper crafting hauls at Tuesday Morning and Hobby Lobby, which some of them have been recorded since the end of February. That's how busy I've been, and I haven't had a chance to edit them and get them uploaded. And then I also have a haul from a quilt shop that I only have like 4 pieces of fabric. They had a sale, but I thought I would share it anyway. And I think I have one other mail call. I got something in the mail from a very generous viewer. She was helping me out with some gifts that I needed. And so I will be showing that haul as well. I have everything recorded, but haven't had a chance to do any computer work. And I've been doing a lot of stuff for this presentation that I'm doing in March. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I'm doing there. So I'm actually going to my website, which if you don't know is www.TeaQuilts.com. There I have my schedule, and sometimes it's up to date and sometimes it isn't. But right now, what I have scheduled for the end of the month is I'm doing a scrap quilt lecture. But this time it's going to be a little bit more involved. Instead of just doing a 1-hour lecture that I normally give at a Gill, I have been sponsored by Ma's Got a Notion Quilt Shop, and it's located in Havana, Illinois. So if you are in the Havana, Illinois area, please sign up to attend the lecture. I think the lecture is $25 per person. It goes from 1:30 to 4:30, and you can call her by phone 309-543-6613, and her name is Sue. And what's different with that is that when I go to Gills, I'm on a very limited time frame, so I only have an hour to give my lecture. I might get an hour and 15 minutes at max. With her scheduling me for a 3-hour lecture, we'll get to be a little bit more in depth with some of the quilts that I bring. Also, you'll have a lot more time for open answer question sessions. I'm also going to bring my Mariner's quilt, which is the quilt that goes on my car. So I'm hoping we can get a group photo of that as well. And I have been asked this in the past for me to upload my lectures or to show them video from my lectures. I will say that I will not ever record and upload my lectures onto YouTube. That is how I actually make my money with quilting. I do YouTube as a gift. I don't really make a lot of money off of YouTube. However, when I do my lectures, that's what gets me to traveling, to getting into other guilds, getting more exposure as I'm going along. And I just do not want to upload my entire lecture presentation. I have given you some parts of my scrap lecture in one of our previous live sessions, so you can go and watch that as well. But as far as showing you exactly what is happening, exactly what is going on, I will not do that. So I'm sorry about that, but I have had that question asked a couple of times. And then also, that scrap lecture is going to be on the last Friday of the month, which is March 30th. And then on Saturday, I'm actually teaching the Exploding Star class. And I don't have anything in this room to show you what that is. But you can go to my website, TeaQuilts, www.teaquilts.com. I have the pattern there available for sale, so you can see what it looks like over there. So I'm actually teaching that class on Saturday from, I think it's 9:30 to 3:30, and I don't know what her price is on that, because you really do have to sign up for that to register, because I can only take a limited number of people. So let me go back into the chat box and see what's going on. Kathy saying that she's trying to tame some of the never-ending scraps. Yes, it seems like scraps are never ending, but since I have a system for how to use them, at least I get to move them a little bit. Got Mila saying hi to Erica, saying she loves her channel as well. And I'm going to assume that Erica's channel is her name, Erica Selman, Selman, unless she comes back and say otherwise. Some other people are saying that they've seen her channel as well. Bonita is saying that I need an assistant. I have been saying that for a while. I do need an assistant. The problem is I don't make enough money to pay an assistant. So I do need an assistant. But right now I'm focusing on redrafting my hour lecture into a 3-hour presentation with all the various things that are going on. So I'm actually adding additional quilts that I wouldn't normally bring. So it's a little bit involved. And then I'm also at the same time trying to reorganize my storage systems and label what's where. So all of this stuff takes time, and you end up with a bigger mess than when you first started. But in the end, it's going to be more efficient for me. So it's just taking a little time. Got Evangelist Arup says, yes, finally I made it. So excited. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate you coming. Trisha saying, sounds like a wonderful event. Hi, T. Love your channel. Thank you, Arup. And Trisha says, you are more than generous with sharing expertise, and I sure appreciate all you do. And Erica said, yes, my channel is my name. Thank you. Yes, so if you don't know about Erica's channel, please go over and visit her channel. Write her channel name down so you can go visit. She has a real laid-back way of teaching you how to do things, even some more complicated things she makes look so simple. So if you haven't heard of Erica, please go and visit her channel. Okay, so that's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing. Like I said, I've been working on some piecing here. I'll go ahead and just tilt my camera down a little bit, and then as things are coming in, I'll just read them as they go. Now, you all know that I don't do much sewing when I'm here chatting with you all, because my main intent is to give you an hour live video where you can ask anything you like, and I can answer if I know the question or if I choose to answer. So that's how it works here on Wednesday nights. So I got my pieces all discombobulated over here, so I'm trying to get them back in order. Don't know what happened. But it's a real simple quilt block to put together. There really isn't a wrong way to do this. It just looks like I'm missing a piece. There it is. All right. Erica says, I have been getting into scraps lately too, thanks to T and others. We have Darlene says, is there an art in deciding what a long armor should be paid? How is the price figured? Long arm machine quilting prices, first off, they mostly will vary by what's going on in your particular area. So if most of your quilters in the area, I know my camera just got a little darker because of me tilting it, but I don't know what to do about it. If other quilters in your area are charging a particular rate, then that's probably the rate that you should charge. But keeping in mind, if you are beginner sewing for others, then maybe you need to reduce it just a tad until you get the experience. Okay, I think I just sewed something wrong here. Yeah. So if you are beginning, then I would say you may not want to charge the actual rate. Might want to charge, so say if your area charges by the square inch, and your area square inch might be 2 cents per square inch of a quilt, then maybe as a beginner, you might want to charge 1.5 cents per square inch to start until you get your expertise and clientele built up, and then you can go to the 2 cents per square inch. So it just depends. Now, there are some areas where they're in the rural areas, and you have people that would do the larger size pantos, and they would do the entire quilt for like $30, $40, something like that. I'm not into manual labor without any for real pay for my time. I think that's really a waste of time, and you're not really being paid for your time when you charge like that. You are also using your equipment that costs quite a bit of money to quote a quilt for somebody for like $30, $40. It's just ridiculous to me. So I would never do that small rate. I would just let those people that want to use those particular type of quilters to go to them. But those quilts are mostly more comforter. I'm just quoting comforter because they are quilted a little bit more apart than other quilts would be. But yeah. Let me see, what other factors would determine your price? The other things that can affect the price that you charge somebody is if they want custom quilting. Custom quilting is if somebody wants you, say you've got a sampler quilt and they want you to individually quilt each block a different design or to quilt it according to how it's pieced, then that would be custom quilting. And that can depend on how much custom quilting you're doing, how long it's going to take. And I've seen custom quilting go from as high as 3.5 cents per square inch up to 7 cents per square inch. So it just depends. Hope that answered your initial questions, Darlene. Now I do know with some of the long arm quilting here, the last time I had a quilt quilted by a long armer, it's been a few years ago, and they had also started charging people for loading quilts, for the thread usage. What else was charged? Of course, you can buy batting from long armers, and you can buy backing, so I know you should pay for that. But I charge a fixed rate when I do long arming, and then I include the quilting thread in that. I don't charge per bobbin. I don't charge for how much thread I use to quilt your quilt. I just go ahead and quilt your quilt. The only thing I do charge differently is if you want variegated thread, because variegated thread costs a lot more. So I'll charge a $10 surcharge for variegated thread for any quilt, any size. I don't make any exceptions on the size. So I hope that helps, Darlene. And she was asking how was the price figured. I think I answered that. Bonita's saying she's been hearing a lot about 7/8 rulers. What is the advantage of having it? Maybe some viewer can answer that question and I can give the answer because I have no idea what is a 7/8 ruler. I am actually a product junkie, and I'm trying not to buy anything that I don't absolutely need as far as a product, unless I'm going to do a review on it on YouTube for you all. So I don't know what a 7/8 ruler is, so I can't answer that question. Darlene's saying she loves her long armor and she is great about sitting down with you to figure out the best design for your quilt. And she said, I just picked up one quilt and dropped off two more. And she does beautiful work. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically how it is, how pricing for long arm is made. You have your if you have somebody that you drop a quilt off to and it takes them months to get it back to you, that's because they've got a high customer base and they have very high quality. They got a good following, and if they're giving you your quilt back in that period of time, that means they've got a lot of satisfied customers. Now, me, I do some long arm quilting for others. I do not advertise that, so I am not very busy with that. But that's not why I actually purchased my long arm machine to go into the quilting business. I have about 10 customers, and I'm okay with that because that's not what I got it for. I have about 50 quilt tops myself that needs to be quilted. And as I'm working with my scrap club, I keep adding 10 to 11 every year. So, yeah, I needed it for myself. HC says, I think I'm a product junkie too. Now, Trisha says she's never heard of that ruler. And HC says, you should see my Amazon wish list. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so that one I do not do. I do have another lecture for those in the state of Missouri. I have a lecture in June that's in the Cape Girardeau area. So if you're in that area, there's a guild there that's sponsoring me for a scrap quilt lecture. This is my second time actually visiting this particular guild. Hi, Holly from West Haven, Connecticut. She just popped in. Welcome. We're just doing open discussions tonight. We don't have a topic. I'm actually trying to do a little bit of sewing. I don't get much done because my whole goal is to chat with you all during this session. I talked about at the beginning what I'm working on. So when this video go live, you can go back and watch the beginning for those that have come in late. Bonita is saying the Shabby Fabric YouTube tutorial used these type rulers, and I was wondering why any other ruler with the 7/8 couldn't be used. Liz says her long armor has a 6-week turnaround. Gorgeous work. And Diane says, I think there's a video on that ruler, Bonita. Susie says, I know you did a lot of research on long arms. I'm just a hobby quilter looking at smaller machines such as Qnique, 15, Baby Lock Coronet, and Brother. I want stitch regulate but no computer. Any opinions? I don't really know a lot about those machines. I remember when the Brother came out with the long, what they put that machine onto a frame. I kind of sold on it a little bit at my local quilt shop. But as far as remembering anything in detail about it, I don't really remember any details on it. The only friends that I have they have the sit down considered like mid-arm machines. And those are by Handy Quilter. And I can't remember the name. It might be the Qnique. I can't remember. But those are the only ones that I know. I have about 3 friends that have the sit down long arms that love them. And they say that they even start in the center, that they don't even base their quilts. They just start in the center and quilt out. That's where you have the machine and the big table, and you've got the bigger arm area from here in this particular area. But I don't know a lot about those. I'm sorry. I didn't do research on those because I knew I wasn't interested in purchasing the smaller machines. Maybe some of the viewers have one of the smaller quilting machines and you can help Susie with that, would be really appreciated. Trisha says, I'm like UT, I only quilt for my close friends. I mostly quilt for myself. I must say that I am very busy quilting for just a few regular customers. Yes, and that's what my main goal is doing. I like teaching. So I didn't want to be boggled down with having a long line of quilt tops that I needed to quilt for other people. I already got my own that need to be quilted. So I didn't want to do a whole lot for other people because my love in quilting is teaching. I like sewing myself and I like teaching. Got Holly says, always watch the day, but home tonight. So good, Holly. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. So yes. So I kind of messed up how I was stitching that block. And I'll go ahead and just pin another one here. I got 3 more blocks I need to actually sew into rows, but at the rate that I'm going as far as talking and sewing, I better just stick with sewing my blocks together where the rows are already together. Hi, Kay from Texas. Welcome. And Trisha says to Susie that there's a lot of videos on those type of machines. So thank you, Trisha, for helping her. But what I will say is if you are able to go to any of the upcoming quilt shows that are coming up, they have all those brands at the show. So maybe that might be a great way for you to test those out. I can't remember. There's an AQS show this month or this weekend, but I can't remember where it is because I wasn't planning to go. But I do know that the April show is coming up. It's actually the 3rd weekend in April instead of the 4th. Don't know why they switched it this year, but they did. And I would try to go to, there's also a big show in Chicago in April. So I don't want to mess with that one until I press it. Sharon Martin says, Susie, try going to a quilt show where you can try a bunch out so you can compare them all at once. That's just what I said. I'm sorry I didn't see that before. Katia says, how many quilts do you make per year? How many have you made so far? This year and last year has been slow years for me. I've been so busy with other aspects of quilting. I did a lot of videos last year. I think I did a count on them last time, and I think I had uploaded like 150 videos or so last year. This year I have been revamping some workshops. I've been talking with people about teaching classes. So I've been a lot more busy with administrative stuff this year. I'll say on average, I do about 30 quilts a year, just on average. Some years I might have more, some years I might have less. I've made over, I'd say 600 quilts. At one point, I was making quilts for every family member, and I've made quite a few of those, gave them away. I make quilts, at least 2 quilts every year for charity. So yeah, I do a lot every year, but last year was a little slow. And this year I've only finished 1 baby quilt for a niece, and I quilted 2. Those panel quilts, those Patriotic Bears panel quilts, I finally got those quilted this year, but I don't have the binding on them. So what I finished this year so far is just 1 quilt. On my quilting frame, I'm in the process of loading my On Ringo Lake quilt. I need to have it quilted because I plan to take it to my lecture at the end of the month. So I will just put some panto on that and do that. Make it real simple. So that's what I'm currently working on. That's what I should have been quilting today, but you know, plans change when your mind is discombobulated with disbelief and horror. So yeah. Um, let's see. Diane says I use my Janome Horizon 8900 for big quilts and my 1600 for QC. Susie says, thanks, Trisha. I have watched all of the videos, was just looking for someone with personal experience. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I just have not tested those machines. I have not personally sold on those machines. And so I can't help you with that, and I'm real sorry about that. Erica says, do you write patterns at all? I'm interested in this, but not sure where to start. I do make some patterns. I have some of them listed on my website. You can just go look at those. How I actually start, for me, when I was doing lectures and I was showing particular things that I had done, I had people asking me, do you have a pattern for that? And so that's kind of how I started writing a pattern. I'm also in the process of writing a pattern for the twirling, twisting strings, which was also is requested. And every time I give a lecture, that is also being requested. So the place to start would be if someone is asking you for something in particular and you don't have a pattern for it, then that would be where you might want to first start making your patterns. And then I actually just produce my patterns in Microsoft Word. You can actually use a regular document to make your pattern, or you can make them in booklet format. They have a format that you can make them in booklet. Most of my patterns are made in regular typing format, but I have a couple that are in booklet format. Erica, if you got any more questions about that and need some assistance, you can always email me. My email is TeaQuilts@teaquilts.com. Kaylin is asking, I have the Qnique 15R with a 10-foot frame. Has the stitch regulator, works great for what I need. Price was a factor, so I bought an entry-level one. So that will help Susie as well. Holly says there's a quilt show in Hartford, Connecticut next weekend, and that must be the AQS show. Thank you, Holly, for letting me know. I know that I saw an email about it, but I didn't pay attention to it because I knew I wasn't going. There's also a quilt show for those in the St. Louis area, St. Louis metropolitan area, any of the Illinois surrounding areas. There's a quilt show this weekend at Queenie Park. I have that listed on my Facebook page. If you're interested in that, when this video go live, I can post it in the comment or the description box. So let me know if you need more information if you're not aware of a quilt show in St. Louis this weekend. There's a show in Lancaster, PA next week. That could be the show. So it's one of those two, but just check out the shows and try to go to a major show, because when you go to a major quilt show, most of those sewing machine manufacturers show up. Darlene says, I do about 5 quilts a year. My main hobby is history genealogy. I do a little bit of genealogy for my family, but they're making it so complicated that I don't keep up with that. But I do love genealogy as well. And Darlene saying that her goal is to put her family tree on a quilt. I actually did a small version of my family tree in a quilt years ago. I gave it to my grandmother and she really loved it. So that's a great idea. Katia says she made 17 last year. It was unusual, but I hope to keep up the trend. Wow, 600 quilts. I have made only 4. I have about 4 quilt tops waiting to go also. And Patty is saying, thank you for all the wonderful inspirational videos. You're more than welcome. It's my pleasure. I actually appreciate when viewers watch my videos. It's all inspiring for me that someone will watch it. And then also when you comment, I just appreciate that. And says that Darlene says, Liz, I've been in the business for 30 plus years with the genealogy I'm thinking. We got Margaret here. Hi, Margaret. She's from North Southwest Australia. Welcome to our viewing. We're just here chatting tonight. We just have about maybe 10 to 15 more minutes. We're doing Q&A, and I'm sewing when the time allows. And someone is saying, Darlene, I want to do it as a bookshelf format rather than a tree, and then add photos and frames, etc. And I'm just reading that comment because my small quilting group, when we go on our retreat in May, are making bookshelf quilts. So that's pretty interesting. You're welcome, Erica. She's thanking me for giving her contact information. I try to help anybody that I can because it's so difficult to get anyone that really want to share a lot of stuff about the business side of YouTube, the business side of being a presenter. So I try to help anyone that I can that's trying to do that. Barbara is here. She's saying hello from Oregon. And Bonita is asking, are the prices any cheaper for the machines at shows? Sometimes the prices are different at the shows because they might be having a show special. And so you may either get a discounted price on the machine, or as most manufacturers will do, they may throw in some free items. They may upgrade your machine with particular gadgets, or they when I did my gammo, when I saw the gammo at the last AQS show, they were throwing in the light bar for free, or they may throw in the zipper leader. So it just depends on what their show special is. And I also learned an insider tip. When you go to the quilt shows, you're not going to get everything at a bargain because each booth is only allowed to have one show special. So they can't discount everything to make it substantially cheaper over here so that you won't buy it from someone else. So if you're trying to say buy a rotary cutter, you're not going to get that rotary cutter in too many places cheaper unless it's a show special because they can't discount the product. Holly says doing a bus trip to Lancaster, PA in September quilt show. That's awesome. In April, I am going to Pour l'Amour de Fil. I don't know what that is. A quilting show in Nantes, France. Okay. She says, I'm very excited. That is awesome. And Phyllis says, T, what's the name of the stabilizer holder you sold? Are you talking about the one that's outside of my door? I got 3 of them in my room. One of them was made with the sewing machines, the thread and all of that. They were in machine embroidered onto the front. That was made with a Viking. I took a Viking class at one of the local sewing machine companies, and they did that with us. It was a project. The other ones, we kind of just winged it, as one of them was a gift, and both of those were a gift. They were both gifts, and so I didn't actually make the other 2. Okay, let's see. Who is the name? What is that? Okay, Holly is saying you are helpful and knowledgeable. Appreciate that. I try to do what I can. And Mila says, what's your retreat in May gonna be? The retreat in May is my small group where we have 8 people that go on a retreat. It's not an open retreat, and we just go and we work on, we have projects and things like that. I do have the retreat schedule for Paducah. Not Paducah. I do have a retreat scheduled for Missouri Star Quilt Company in September. And I do have one empty spot. I have not done any work to try to get that last spot filled. But it's $350 to go on a retreat from Tuesday through Saturday. That includes your lodging and the place where you sew. You'll have to provide your own food, but we're going to work with that as well. I'm also I've been dealing with that behind the scenes, and I need to start working on what we're actually going to do. But since that's in September, I got a little more time on that. Liz says, she's talking to Diane, so I won't read that. She says, OT, I hope you show us the bookshelf quilt when they are done. I hope I get it done. I'm going to go for something small instead of big this time. And Diane says, it's better to go to a dealer and ask if they have any sales coming up. Margaret says, I have been pinning my 2 quilt tops so that I can start quilting them on the weekend. I just bought a Janome MC Horizon 1500, so now I can quilt on that. So that might help Susie as well. Phyllis says, I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Phyllis. I appreciate that. Ramona is saying, is hand quilting going to be a lost art? And I really would say no, because I remember when I first started quilting and was looking for hand quilters, couldn't hardly find any in the area. And now there are quite a few church organizations that do hand quilting. And every once in a while, we'll get a request sent to our guild saying that somebody does hand quilting at home and she's opening up services. So I don't think it's going to be a lost art. I just think you won't see it as much just because we're making many more quilts than what our ancestors made in the same time period. So we need some way of getting them completed quickly. And we got Joni. Hi, Joni. She says, hi, T. I love scrap quilts. So do I. And Joni is saying she's also trying hand quilting this year. Good luck with that. I did try hand quilting. I actually hand quilted 2 bed-size quilts when I first started, but I just find that they were not relaxing for me, as people say that they get in their mode and then it's just so relaxing. Well, I was stressed the entire time because all I could think about was how much more of this quilting I had to do. And my stitches were just okay. They weren't like the very pretty ones that I see. So yeah. So we're almost getting to 8. So it got I love my 2 nephews is here. She's saying hi T. This is Charmaine. And then she said, Darlene, do you sew either entire quilt by hand or do you have videos? Okay. So yes. So we are just about done for today. We got a couple more minutes. Just see if anything else pop up in the box. I do appreciate you all watching. And I appreciate your patience with me. I have not been uploading videos like I normally do. I am behind on the Quilter's Path block of the month. I have not even sewn that block yet. So I have no video on that. I have cut out a block that I was going to show you all that I purchased a template from Tuesday morning. And I was even going to have a giveaway on the rulers, but I have not had a chance to sew the block. I have cut the blocks out, the pieces out, but I haven't done any sewing or videotaping. But so I do have some quilt related things coming up. I just haven't gotten around to them yet. So thank you for your patience. If you haven't already, go ahead and thumbs up this video so we can get some YouTube love. And when it goes live, come back and leave me a comment. And Diana say, T, love your show. So much information. Margaret says, I just love watching Margaret Lewin. I have been saving for a long time for a new machine. I'm sure a lot of you know who Margaret Lewin is. Liz says, I put some hand quilting in the quilts for loved ones. That's nice. Charmaine's, no, Darlene is telling Charmaine, I see small lap quilts, no videos. Mila saying good night. Holly says good night, everyone. Have a great and productive day. So, yes. So, thank you all for watching. We're just going to go ahead and end because I don't think I got any more here. But please don't forget to like the video. And if you didn't watch the beginning to see what pattern I'm sewing, is actually a pattern called Scrap-O-Rama from Iowa Star Designs. You can watch the beginning of the video to see the blocks that I showed that I've currently worked on. And I think I have 2 more sets of blocks after these to finish. So I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.